2, 1. Oh, I got to put your name up on the screen. Here we go. Can you see your name?
I can.
Can you see my name?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing. 3, 2, 1. We're waiting for it.
Drum roll.
I don't know why it's taking so long.
Forget it. I'm out.
You're bailing on me. What the hell is going on here? And it won't let me stop it midstream.
Oh, it's like hung right now?
It's spinning.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what I can do different.
Refresh.
I don't know. You're still spinning. Let me just check my internet connection. Oh, that's tight. Unfortunately, we cannot start your broadcast in time. Please try again. Okay, hang on. Let me edit destination. Let's take that out of there. Okay, so I had it streaming to a YouTube channel of mine, but I took that one out. I'm going to save it. All changes were saved successfully.
Take 2.
Okay, take 2 starting now. Come on, there it is. 3, 2, 1. Okay, hello everyone. We are live. I'm here with Greg Nordeng. Greg.
Hello, Dominic. Hello, everyone else.
Hello, everybody. Well, you're probably like, what the hell are these guys up to? We're trying to figure that out right now.
Nothing but trouble.
That's right. Well, actually, we have, in our opinion, we have good news. We have officially, as of 5 seconds ago, 29 seconds ago, launched our podcast.
Woohoo!
However, we don't know what we're going to call it. Right now, it's the Greg and Dominic Show.
Open to suggestions. If something resonates, maybe we'll pick it.
Absolutely. People are probably like, who is this guy, Greg? Who is this guy, Dominic? What?
Good question. Who are we, Dominic?
Exactly.
How do we know each other? Why are we here?
We are here because we feel, at least I feel like I have a voice that I have not used to my full potential. So in my 65 plus years of existing on the planet Earth, I just have felt like it's time for me to begin to share a little bit of my wayward knowledge. and so anyway, Greg and I started to talk about, well, why don't we do a podcast? What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing, right? So Greg and I, we met, how many years ago? Help me figure that out.
26, 25.
25,
26,
26
26, 26.
Okay, we'll let that go. 26 years ago, and we were both involved in a personal growth organization. Greg came, and he still does live in Madison, the Mad City. And I used to live in Indiana, Northwest Indiana, and now I'm living on the far west side of Chicago. And Greg was also in the Navy, which I was in the Navy. We're what? I'm 65, you're 44, 40,
42 in October.
42 in October. So we're 20 plus years, 25 years apart. Interesting.
Yeah.
So we're 2.5 generations apart. So I'm kind of like the, what do they call us? The
Elders.
elders. Thanks. I appreciate that. Boomer.
Wisdom. The
I'm
elder wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm at the tail end of the boomer, whatever you call that. Now you're what, a millennial?
If you want to get technical, I'm a zennial.
A
So
zennial.
that's the there's this little pocket between Gen X and the millennials, and we're special, obviously. It's true though. We're kind of like I don't know. It resonated with me when I saw it. Basically, this little pocket that we were young enough to know what life was like before the internet, but then we were teenagers, like starting to become aware of the universe and our surroundings and stuff when the internet started to become a thing, like AOL chat and all that stuff. So we're sort of this, like, we're this generation that observed the transformation into the information age, and we're cognitive of it. But we're kids, before it. So for whatever that means.
Right. So before the internet, what do you consider to be before the internet?
Before the dial-up? Remember those days?
How old were you when the internet started to evolve?
Maybe like 13, 14.
Wow.
Somewhere around there. Remember dialing up, hearing all the noises it would make when it would connect and all of that.
Right. That was the exactly. Yeah, it was crazy. And so anyway, so we're 2.5 generations apart. He's got ideas and has had his experiences, and I've had my experiences. And we like I said, we met at the at a personal growth during a personal growth organization, and we became friends and have kind of stayed in touch. Greg was in the Navy. I was in the Navy.
Yep. Yeah, and I think really, Dominic, one of the things that connects us is obviously that weekend, but deeper than that, I mean, a weekend is just a weekend, a seminar is just a seminar, but to keep a thread going for as many years as we have, there has to be something behind that, I think. And, I have a real passion for waking up and seeing more. And I know you do too. And that's part of what brought us together. And I loved what you said about just having an opportunity to, I think you said something to the effect of share your authentic voice, or having an opportunity to share ourselves. And that's really, I think, what brought us together, sort of. And, you're telling the long-term story, but what connected us it's really cool for me. I'll just share a little testimony. A few months back, I set out on a mission for myself to do 75 hard. Some people will know what that is. I won't go into all the details, but it's a pretty intense physical, mental regimen that goes for 75 days. And one of the things I added on top as a little sprinkle to continue the journey was recording myself every day. I was very nervous to do that. I had a lot of fear around what would people think about me. Sharing and putting my face on a camera. And I used to have judgments about people that would do that. And I can see now it's because I was insecure about myself. So it's so much easier to judge others. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to go for it. So I started doing that and recorded for probably like 80, 90 days straight or something like that. And really my whole intention of doing it was not to build an audience. It wasn't to impress people. It wasn't to whatever. It was just literally to share what felt real and true in my heart. And that experience was very enlightening, not just to get through the fear of it, but also just see the blessings. And really that's one of the goals I think you and I, in the conversations we've had leading up to this, really one of the goals and things that we're aligned on is staying true to our heart, staying true to what feels good for us. I'm at a place in my life, and I think you were alluding to it to some degree. I don't particularly care too much about if people like what I have to say or don't like what I have to say. I'm certainly not going out of my way to offend people. And what I found is that when I have the courage to speak what's real and true to my heart, it resonates with people. Instead of this, like, well, what, sharing something that maybe sounds good, but isn't totally authentic. And, one of my dreams, and coming full circle, one of my goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations was maybe someday have a podcast. So as a result of me doing this recording, I think you picked up, hey, I kind of like some of the things Greg is saying here. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but for whatever reason, you felt like, hey, let's do a podcast. And I was like, this is beautiful. It's just like planting the seed with an authentic voice leads to the next step in the evolution, where if I was doing something to impress people or didn't, like, this wouldn't be happening, so it's a little bit more of some context of how we're here.
Mm-hmm. I like what you said. I mean, I think that when you started your Heart 75 and you started to go live, and I was watching each day, seeing your little 20, 30 seconds, little thingy. What I kept thinking about was that what we commonly learned, was about breaking our boundaries, breaking through that. Life is like, if it wasn't, like embryos have to break out of their boundary to become human beings.
Yeah.
Flowers have to break out of their boundaries, to become pollen and all this other stuff. It's like this is kind of like life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was an inspiration. And as I kept watching you, 25, 35, 45, 55, and you're exercising and you're, focusing in, I'm like, that's an inspiration. So, you were breaking boundaries every single day. And I certainly have been through that process. I mean, I feel like, since when I first started being involved in a personal growth organization, I was 28. Now I'm 60, almost 66. And, I've been through a lot of eye of the needles. And I noticed that so have a lot of other people. And they have a lot of experiences that they also would like to share. So that's part of the reason why we're here on this podcast, is to give people the opportunity to come live with us. Now, I have the software and everything available. We can bring, I think, six more people onto this, so we could have a panel. So we don't really quite know exactly what we're going to do. We just have some ideas, and we'll see how it evolves. And we've got some topics that we've thought about that we want to broach, for a better word, and there's so many topics. It's endless. Personal growth is one of the big ones, because what I've learned, everybody wants to grow. Everybody. What's been your experience?
Not everyone wants to grow.
Really?
I think the vast majority want to grow. I feel like I've met some people that aren't interested, that they're committed to being takers. I think they're the minority, and they're out there.
The evil people.
But to your point, yes, our audience certainly I expect to be people who are interested in growth.
Well, I think, you know, at a level where if people knew that it was available to expand and grow, that I think that they would want to do that. That's where I come from. And you're right. There are some people that are just so dug in, and they don't know better. And
Well, we'll save this one for another day, but I think
okay,
there are people
that's
who
a great
know
topic.
better and they love to dig in.
Exactly. That's a great topic. So there's personal growth. I mean, there's all kinds of you know, like for example, money. Money is a huge topic, right? Everybody, not everybody. A lot of people struggle with money. Some people don't struggle with money. Some people have learned about money and want to share their knowledge with other people. So you know, those people that are out there, we would love for you to join us and share your knowledge and wisdom. And this is not meant to be, in my opinion, it's not meant to be, you know, a sales thing. I used to, for those of you who know me, you know about this, the Self Achievement Network. So I did this for 5 to 6 years, and I helped promote people. And I always told people, this is not a sales thing. This is about you sharing your heart and soul about your passion. So Greg and I have this passion about supporting people in the possibility of waking up to new possibilities, to seeing life in a new way, and in ways that people want to evolve to. So there's money, there's also health. You just went through a process. Now, are you still involved in that process? Or have you tapered off a little bit, or you're just kind of like, where are you?
I dipped a little bit after.
Yeah.
I had a little 2-month hiatus dip, and I'm back on the path. I'm on my way ramping up again. So I expected a little dip. I mean, it's pretty intense to do what I did, and of course, in the moment, I'm like, I'm never going back, you know. And then I went through the little dip, and it's okay. It's part of the journey.
It is part of the journey.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's the thing for me is, as long as the trajectory is continually finding its way up, there'll be ups and downs. And I like to say make sure I get this right. The peaks of my past are the valleys of today.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Continual growth.
It's great. And there's no answer. There's no right answer. It's just a process. As we used to say, the next process is about to begin. We have a couple of people watching. Michelle, she says they have to have their own awakening before they are ready to make a personal change. I'm going to put that up on the screen. So Michelle, since you wrote it, I'm putting you up on the screen. So if you don't like it, you can send me a text and say, don't do that. But you said it, and I think it has merit. So they have to have an awakening before they are ready to make a personal change. That's great, isn't it?
It is. It is. And it's amazing, right? Where an awakening can come from. You just never know. I've seen people in 4 days in a hotel wake up like that. I've seen people over a lifetime, and then all of a sudden one day, just out of nowhere, pop. And what's really exciting to me is I feel like more and more people are waking up today. So I've been on this journey of waking up since I was 16. And what I've observed is that it's like, we've talked about this in the past, like the popcorn pops, right? All of a sudden there's a pop, there's a pop, there's a pop, there's a pop. Well, for whatever reason, today it feels like pop, 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 pop. There's a critical mass awakening happening, which feels like, you know, part of why the timing of this podcast is so great. There's an appetite for people to wake up.
It's huge, and I think that we are at the precipice of supporting people to do that. Now, not like I mean, I'm not a pro. I have my own journey. I don't profess to be anything that is, like I'm not a guru. Not, I'm not any of this, anything like that. I have my own experience, and I do feel a responsibility to share what I've learned. And mostly it's where I've fallen down the manhole. Because if people don't know where the manholes are, you know what I'm saying? Then they fall down. They're like, now what do I do? Um, but
When you
yeah,
finally learn to shine the light in the darkness, you can see so much more.
exactly, exactly. So the other, so Greg and I have been talking about different topics, and we're like, well, wait, maybe we shouldn't talk about that, like politics. But I think that politics is about life, but we don't have to get into like, what's happening, you know, at the, I don't know, certain levels. But there's certain things about politics that I think affect us all, and it's really important to talk about. Oh, we're not supposed to talk about religion and politics. Bullshit. Well, I think that we need to
Yeah, and
have an open
sorry to cut
conversation.
you off. Keep going.
No, it's fine. It's have an open conversation about what's really happening here on life on planet Earth, that we need to begin to make adjustments so that it begins to work for all of us.
Yeah, right.
You know, and from my experience, like, so I post certain things on Facebook and Instagram, and then I get a barrage of feedback from people, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. And the thing that I'm beginning to see is that people are very passionate about what they know and how they want our lives to be together. It's like we have this common thing. We want to be together. And there's so much stuff going on with the media that separates us. Like, you know, I watch this news channel, I get this information off the media on the internet, and then other people watch this one and this one and this one, and everybody thinks that they're watching the right shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that mostly we're watching opinionated stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're bringing that stuff forward. And I think that if we had an open conversation about it, that maybe we can begin to take this separation and pull it together.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's about elevating the conversation. It's about taking it to a higher plane of perspective. And my experience, and it doesn't matter either side. It's not about a side thing. It's about the process. Am I observing things with clear eyes? Or am I observing things with an emotional baggage, a traumatic lens that distorts my ability to see? And I think that's kind of the stuff that I'm really excited to get into with you, Dominic, is like, what does it look like to see the world with traumatic eyes versus what does it look like to see the world with healed eyes? And my experience is that people who are healing on the path of healing and seeing more and waking up, politics becomes a totally different conversation than just who's your guy or who's your girl. It's about it's about elevating the human experience, human consciousness, which is something so much greater than any political race. And to your point, my experience is that having a different, like having that perspective does shape the way I view politics. Do you have that same experience?
I do. And it's interesting because, how do I put this? So, I mean, I've met a lot of people that really work hard to maintain a certain level of conscious awareness, not only about themselves, about their surroundings. And then I've met a lot of people that have very little self-conscious self-awareness, and they both have very different approaches to things. And so I'm not saying either one is better or worse. What I'm saying is that it's a different conversation. And so what Greg and I have been talking about is how can we bring it together to support, both, all sides, to bridge the gap, so to speak, So anyway, we really want this to be an introduction to this podcast. And we, again, don't know what the name is yet. I like breaking boundaries. Greg's got a few ideas. I've got a few ideas. Just know that you're all invited. So all you have to do is reach out to either me or Greg. I've just shared this to Greg's profile. So Greg should have this. You should have this live right now. I don't really know. Can you go to your Facebook and see if you've got it going live? I tagged you in it.
Not seeing a thing.
Not seeing a thing yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're working on that.
We'll figure it out.
We share it.
Oh, wait. There it is.
It's live?
Oh, yeah.
There you go, man. I'm smarter than I thought I was. That's great. So, yeah, I mean, reach out to us. If you have a topic, something that you'd like to share, we'll get together 3, 4, 5, 6 different people and have a conversation. Our plan loosely right now is to do what? Once a week, once every 2 weeks?
Sounds about right. Yeah, I think
be on every day.
Good for once a week for now. See how it goes.
I think once a week is good. Gives us a little time to organize things. But there's so many different subtopics to all these different, there's, like I talked about personal growth, about career. Did I say that? No, money, health. There's also family. My gosh, that's a huge topic right there. That's gigantic. Romance, that's gigantic. We've all been through hell and back.
Heaven and back.
Heaven and back, hell and back, and then we've been gone to heaven. Oh my gosh. Let me just put one more thing up here. Michelle's really active tonight. She says several things. I know you can't see this. Can you, Greg?
Yeah, I can see it.
You can see. Okay, so she just said communication. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. That's on the brainstorm list.
It's on the brainstorm list. Being open to others' opinions and making the best decision for oneself at the time, not judging others because their opinion is not yours. Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
That's just beautiful. So, Michelle, you have to come into our, what do we call this?
Sanctuary. That's what came to my mind.
Our sanctuary.
Monastery.
Our cave.
Our cave. Oh, I like that one.
No, they're going to be like, not a cave. But there's so many topics. Greg and I did a little brainstorming on an app, and men and women, masculinity and femininity. Now, I think Greg should take the lead on that one.
Happy to.
Happy to. How does being in a state of fear or love affect decision making? Whoa. That could be intense. Mindful meditation.
Mindfulness.
How trauma blinds us from seeing the truth.
Mm-hmm. I want to quickly, it's been running through my head, and it's like, it's our emotional reactions that can be our litmus test to know if we're healed or not. So if like I'm having a conversation about politics, going back just a second, and then all of a sudden I find myself triggered, that's a clue to myself that I need to heal. And I'm seeing things through a traumatic lens.
Mm-hmm. Like instead of lighting up like a Christmas tree and going, we could, yeah, and then say, wait a minute, that's something that I need to explore,
Mm-hmm.
see what's really going on and what's lighting my fuses over here.
And what the game is out there so often is, I'm triggered, it's your fault.
Exactly.
Instead of, I'm triggered, what do I need to learn about myself to heal so that that can just pass through me and I have peace? Anyway.
Yeah, so you guys can see this is like the ever expanding podcast. Michelle says, I'm trying to stay awake so I can work again at 10. I know, Michelle, she works a lot of hours. She's like has climbed the ladder of success to director of a lot of stuff, and she works a lot of hours. So thank you for joining us, Michelle. Appreciate that. And okay, well, we're at 28 minutes right now. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Excited to let it rip with you, Dominic. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. Excited to see the people we pull into this, and excited I'm doing it with you. And it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. And bear with us. I think one of the premises we set out is imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So we're just kind of making steps on our way here. Expect this to evolve over time. Open to feedback and excited to have anyone on board who wants to join us.
Okay. Love it. I ditto that. Okay. So we will see you all a week from today, Tuesday, 8 p.m.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll see what the topic's going to be. So, and again, if you have something that you would like to talk about, those of you who are watching, please reach out to either Greg or I, and then just let us know, and we'll see how we can make it work. Okay? Okay, y'all. Be well.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you, Greg. Take care. Bye for now.